All right, you guys. So the developer direct for Xbox 2026 has wrapped up. We have a general idea of what's going on with Xbox, what their plans, what they want to hit, and what some of the development teams have been working on. The games shown in the developer direct was Fable, Forza Horizon. We got Kiln from Double Fine, and we got Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak, right? In this video, I'm just want to talk about. I'm gonna be honest, mainly Fable, but just overall the reception and then my thoughts of Xbox going into 2026. Right? Like, subscribe, let me know down below your guys' thoughts. Let's get that over with. Right? All right. Let's start before we get to Fable because that's the big talking point that I want to talk about. I kind of just want to hit some of the other points. Forza looks amazing. I think no one's surprised by that. We all like expect Forza to be one of the best things ever, especially within its genre. Right? It's one of those like ambassadors for that genre. When you think of racing games, I think of Forza. I think of Playground, and they kick butt at that. Right? I'm gonna be honest. Ever since I played Forza Motorsport 2 back on Xbox 360, I haven't touched like any other simulation raiders because I just don't. I don't want to. Forza kills it. The Horizon series has been killing it, in my opinion, since like the third one. So it's just like again, it's just such a dope series, such a dope franchise. I'm very excited for it. It's not coming day and day on PS5. We knew that. It's coming shortly after. I'm honestly gonna wait for the PS5 version just because I prefer to play it on PlayStation at this point. Um, Real quick on that, I noticed like some people like giving a bunch of theories as to why it's not coming day and day and every other game is. And my personal opinion, why it's not coming day and day on anything else, like why is it going to Xbox PC first, is because I think Forza is one of the few games that Xbox has that actually sells. Like that game sells on Xbox, and I think there's people out there that'll buy it on release and then rebuy it again on PlayStation. And I feel like that's one of the few franchises that can move numbers like that. And I think Xbox knows that. I think as much as they say they don't care about like exclusivity, et cetera, they want their games everywhere. I think they want that because they have to want that, right? But Forza is the one title that they don't have to want that. They understand that game sells. So that game's going to sell a bunch day and day on Xbox PC. And then it's going to sell a bunch again on PlayStation 5. So that's my theory. Other than that, yeah, the game looks dope. I'll wait for it on PlayStation and then I'll just be buying it there. Beast and Reincarnation. That's an interesting game. I have a lot more thoughts on it, and I'll probably make another video separate from this. But just kind of like overview, I think this game is Game Freak trying to like stamp their flag on the in the ground and say, hey, like look, I understand the Pokemon games aren't great. That's not our fault. That's the machine's fault, right? We can do this, but like let's be honest, they're gonna make this and then they're gonna go back to Pokemon for the next 6, 7 years and then maybe make another game again, right? I don't have too much hopes for this game. I think it looks like interesting. I think it's cool. I'll definitely probably try it out depending on what it releases by. But I'll definitely probably try it out. I am a big fan of these like wannabe from software games like Stellar Blade, and I like Code Vein. I like Wulong. I actually do really like these kind of stuff. I do think that they are becoming a little oversaturated, but like what genre isn't oversaturated? Games are oversaturated at this point, so like what? Who cares at this point? I think, and that's just overview. I have more thoughts, and I'll kind of dive more deeper into that in another video. But I mean, the game looks good. Like Game Freak is cooking a little bit. If we were to move on to Kiln, I feel like Double Fine is such a weird like studio, and they keep finding ways to hang on to like these passion, projects that they just released. Like last year, they released Keeper. No one talked about it. Very few people played it. I don't know how much it sold. Kiln. It looks like they had a lot of fun making this game. I don't know how much that's gonna go into making units sell, which I feel like Double Fine knows at this point. Like I feel like they're doing this to kind of like keep their creative muscle strong until they make their next big game. What I will say is about the reception. I kind of like watching like live streams and stuff like that and like chats and stuff. I'm kind of upset that like a lot of people are kind of disrespecting Kiln, to be honest. I don't think it looks like a bad game. Am I gonna play it? Probably not. But I don't think it's a bad game. I wouldn't like be like, oh, you suck for making this. But I feel like a lot of people were kind of like very negative on Kiln, and that kind of bothered me because I feel like in this general space, this hobbyist, you know, field that we all kind of communicate in. I think a lot of us always say we want games to be smaller and quicker, and we want multiplayer games to not have all this live service and stuff like that. And I feel like Kiln is exactly what people have been asking for the most part, but they're so negative against it, and I think that kind of sucks. And I mean, shout out to Double Fine for keeping that creative muscle strong and just trying things and throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I'm always excited for what they do next. So Kill's not a game for me, but I think it's dope that it was created. All right. Overall, that was most of Xbox's showcase. I think overall it was what we expect. I don't think any of those games took, like, we knew Forza was gonna be dope. We knew Beast of Reincarnation was gonna be interesting. Double Fine, we knew it was gonna have something wacky. So nothing was offbeat. Now we're into Fable. First things first, I want to hit on Fable is I love the people speaking on it, right? The developmental team behind Fable, at least the stuff that they're saying forward facing to the public, they're saying a lot of the right things. They're hitting morality, they're hitting the comical side, they're hitting like the characters, the hobs, the enemies, they're hitting a lot of those things. I love that they gave a tip of the hat to Lionhead and stuff like that. I think that all that's dope. Um, I love the reception afterwards. I think people who were kind of down or negative, me slightly included, were kind of a lot more optimistic now that we've seen more of this game. I think it sucks that we didn't get a definitive date. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I feel like this has been such a long time in the making that I was hoping they would stamp their ground and just say, "Hey, like August 16th, we're coming out," something like that. They did say fall, and I think that's fine. I think they are. I think they want a November release date, to be honest with you, but I think they're scared of Grand Theft Auto, so I think they're going to try to see if they can get it out slightly before November, like October or something. But and again, I don't think Xbox can't afford to miss on Fable. Like, they just can't afford to miss on Fable. And I think if Fable goes up against other games, like even let's say PlayStation's Wolverine, I feel like they just don't want any competition. They want a spot just for Fable. And I think that's probably why they're hesitant on when. I think they're waiting for the year to kind of fill out before they shoot their shot. But I mean, this game looks dope, man, and everyone looks so like the development team is so passionate about this game, and a lot of stuff that they're doing are the right things. The only thing that really bothers it doesn't bother me, but I don't like it as much is the morality system. I feel like it's it's different than what Fables has before. I kind of wish it was a little bit less gray, which I spoke on another video. I wish it was just more, black and white. I wish there was more like definitive. This is good. This is bad. I know, like, I guess maybe we just live in an era where people just don't want that anymore. And I guess the only reason why I would want that in Fable is I see all these other, RPG studios, whether it's Bethesda, whether it's Obsidian, trying to do this whole gray thing, right? Where everything's a gray moral area, where you do this, and it affects this and that. And that's, I don't get me wrong, I love that, right? I love that in games. But not every game needs to have that. I think what could have made Fable stand out a little bit more was the more black and white. This is definitively good. This is definitively bad, and this is going to have a lot of repercussions this way, but a lot of pros this way, and this is going to have a lot of vice versa. Um, but I do like the idea of, like, all the things you do, kind of creating gossip around you and like building the fame around you, and that's a lot of what the OG Fable was like you had kind of like made a name for yourself as a hero, and whether that's good or bad was kind of what it was. Um, but yeah, like overall, man, I think Fable, like, they hit it, man. They hit it. And Playground Studios, like, mad salute to you, because like with them releasing Forza Horizon and then next them releasing Fable, like, this is the one time that Xbox has such excitement around its games. And it sucks that it's Xbox, to be honest with you, because like if this was PlayStation, people would be, off their walls, super excited. But because it's Xbox, there's always a hint of doubt in the air, right? There's always that hint of Fable looks dope, but we can't be excited until it comes out. We just can't, and that kind of sucks. What I will say is Playground Studios, though, mad salute. Like, they're dope as hell. Like, whatever they're doing is all the right stuff. I think they're definitely a very passionate team. I think because they make so much money with Playground or with Horizon, that they can have a lot more leeway than I think other studios do. and they can kind of just do whatever they want at this point, as they should. I feel like they're the crown jewel of Xbox right now, and any success that these games have, I'm not going to give any credit to Xbox. To be honest with you, I'm gonna give a credit to the developers and the developer heads at Playground, because they are making all the right decisions. They're making like these dope ass games, and like as much as like as much as I like these games that are coming out, it's still there's always going to be this negativity around Xbox, and kind of rightly so. Like I feel like they squandered so much of their talent and potential that it sucks that we're at the point where there's still a little trepidation around. There's still a little bit of hesitation about excitement for these games, and that's what I'm kind of starting to see is that people are still, no matter what we see of Fable, we're still hesitant on getting excited for it. Even me, like as much as this looks dope, and this looks like so far in the year, this is the best game I've seen so far. And obviously, we're early January, so who knows? But this is the type of Western RPGs that I like. This kind of sandboxy, fun, comical, lighthearted, cool enemies. Like it looks dope, and I'm very excited. The combat looks really good, surprisingly. Um, I just think they're doing a lot of things right with Fable, and I am overall very excited. I am overall very positive on the direct, and I think like going into 2026, Xbox definitely has a strong position right now. Anyways, those are gonna be my final thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one.